All right, and good morning. Welcome. It is day number 19 of the 90-day guide to success. And I'm excited because today we're going to be building on what we talked about yesterday, which was our colors. So colors are motivational for us, and motivation is our topic of the day. So I want to welcome you back. Hey, Samina, there's her beautiful pink. And Tiff, remind me, what was your favorite color? What was your color? You were yellow. Purple, of course, purple. Excellent. Well, today is all about motivation, and I'm really excited to announce that today I am releasing officially, launching, you might say, the hybrid work style quiz. So this is a project I've been working on all summer to really get people thinking about not only their brand, but what really drives them and motivates them. So today is day 19. We're going to look a little bit at the claims model to motivation, and then we are going to dive in to our topic. So just a reminder, make sure that you are checking things off. We've got Marty, Samina, Cheryl, and Tiff here. Who's been doing their field work every day, working through the book? Anyone? Anyone? Yeah, Marty. Okay, so what are you enjoying about the process, Marty, as you go through daily?
I'm sorry, I just joined. What did you say again?
But you are checking it off, so that's good. So
yes. And it's great and I'm writing it in the book, which is, I think I'm writing it in pencil, but I'm writing it in the book.
Nice.
So I don't have scads of notes that I can't read some other place.
Well, that's good. And that was the intent of this book, right? To really write in it and take notes. And it's going to be something that you can go back to. Yes, it's big, it's bold, but that should go on your desk, right? Samina, what's been your experience of using the book? Are you writing in it, or are you being like me, sort of not writing in it?
So I'm not writing in it. I have a separate, because I didn't get the book until a few days later. So I started in my other notebook and I'm continuing there, but I am following in the book. And I didn't get a chance to follow through for the rest of the day, but I'm enjoying it though.
You're enjoying it. Excellent. I know Cheryl's enjoying it too. So awesome. Okay, well, today here's the hybrid work style quiz. I hope that you'll spend 2 to 3 minutes to head on over to bit.ly/hybrid work quiz. This is going to give you some insights as to your unique hybrid work style. And in fact, on Friday, I'm going to be picking it up as our theme. So we're going to go into the 5 different types of hybrid workers, which I think everyone will find pretty neat. This is a sort of a whole new element. I've never done a quiz before, but you could do it on your phone, you can do it on your computer, and it gives you a report in terms of what your preferences might be. So my hope is that this is a conversation starter for entrepreneurs and also for team members. And as I said, we'll come back to it in a couple of days on Friday to talk a little bit about those 5 different types of hybrid workers. And that might infuse you on your 21 minutes of action on Friday, because we have people who like to build things, get things done. We have people that like to be innovatively experimental. I'm an innovative experimenter, right? I like to try things out, do it, see how it works, and then probably tweak it from there. You know, the 90-day guide is a great case in point, right? It grew out of decades of conversations. This whole 90-day sprint is an experiment as well. So you will be able to see what sort of type you are, and I hope that you'll join me for that. You will get one of these different reports. We also have the connectors, people who, of course, are like the glue on any team or any organization. We have visionaries, and we have culture wizards. Culture wizards, people who are really attuned to like shaping the environment and the context in which we operate. So hope you'll enjoy that. And meanwhile, today, I want you to think about motivation. What are the internal and external factors that get you out of bed every day? So internally, it might be things like achievement or just a satisfaction of getting things done. Externally, there were so many motivational factors: connection, status. And this really led me to create the claims model of motivation, which you'll see on page 141, 142. Just want to really zone in here, because here's the thing: in remote and hybrid work, excuse me, remote and hybrid work, we are typically our motivational factor, right? It's like it's up to us. And when I might be moving in between an office space and my home, seeing some of my team and not seeing some of my team members, it can be really important to think about how are you each wired in terms of what you're driven by. So for some of us, we're driven by community and connection, bringing people together, creating a sense of belonging. Others are driven by learning. Others are driven by autonomy, the ability to get things done. Some of us might be driven by impact. And certainly impact is a theme that we've been hearing in different settings this week. What is the impact that you want to make? Others may be driven by money and monetary, monetary elements, or status, having power. So I'd like you to just think for yourself today, which of these motivate you? And how can those be something that you're conscious of, right? Like I think for an entrepreneur, for example, many entrepreneurs are not only driven by impact, but by money. And it's interesting, as I listen to some of my colleagues, they're very adamant. You can't just have impact. You need to have money in order to increase impact. That's a perspective, right? It's not necessarily my perspective, but it's their perspective. And so these claims model, you can really have a primary, a secondary, even a tertiary that is helping you think about, what is going to keep your engines running. Really, that's what motivation is, right? It keeps your engines running day to day to day. So I'd love to have a bit of a conversation. We have a choice. We can either have the conversation here in the room, or we can go to Breakout today. Any preferences in terms of where you'd like to have conversations? Do you want to do it in the main room? Do you want to do it in Breakout?
Yeah.
Maybe main room. Yeah.
Main
Main
room.
room? Okay.
Yeah.
So today we'll do the main room for a change. And I'd love to hear from all of you. What's your primary and your secondary motivator? Maybe just take a minute right now to look through this list, write it down, and also bring to mind perhaps an example, a recent example of how this, lever, we can call these levers once again, really motivate you, really help you get that traction and daily steps we need. So take about 60 seconds, write it down in your notebook. All right, so that's about a minute. And I'm just curious, I'd love to invite each one of you to sort of share maybe one of these elements. I'll start by sharing and just saying, it's interesting because I think they're actually almost all of these motivate me in different ways and have at different stages. But I think in this current moment, 3 of them really stand out for me, like community. And that's what I do every day, right? I bring people together for different conversations. I look at a day like yesterday, which by the end of the day, I just sort of like collapsed into bed. But it was a great day because from 5 a.m. until about 5 p.m., I was just with group after group after group, loving seeing people getting activated. Some of those groups were not community groups, corporate groups. Some of them were groups of entrepreneurs, some of them were groups of coaches. Like it was a really great day. And I know that when I don't have groups on the go, I do feel like something's a little missing in my life. I think that's because I'm such a people person in my work arena, right? Like in my personal arena, I love shutting off at the end of the day and becoming hermit Jen, as I like to call it. I haven't minded parts of the pandemic of being at home because I think my work is so social, right? And that's a big driver. So I would say right now, primary is community and impact, right? This business, when I started Potentials Realized back in 2004, driven or inspired perhaps in those days by the water drop, right? I wanted to continue to have a global impact in my work like I did in my first part of my career. And the water drop of being able to empower others to take their work out was a significant driver in the early years of this business. And now I can say with great pride, I think some days, like I have had huge impact in my work and especially my writing. And I think this is why I continue to write and maybe even put more attention on writing today than I did 10 years ago, because I've seen how it's changed conversations in ways that I would have never, places I would have never been able to reach otherwise. So I would put community and impact as top two, and learning. Of course, I love to learn. It's one of my strengths, as I know it is for some of you. So with that, I'd love to hear if you're willing to share, what are your motivators? How do they help you? How do they get you out of bed in the morning? Cheryl, over to you.
Yeah, so I share some things with you, Jennifer, although I'm not a published author. I would say my primary motivation is learning. I love to learn. It's no surprise on my VS strengths. I think love of learning is my second strongest signature strength. And this next one would be community. I'm share with you love of people. I'm energized by people in my work space, in my private space. Again, like to have quiet time, but and when I think about those two, in terms of community and the work that I've chosen to do now as being a business coach, eventually maybe I'll see that impact. But right now it's about serving people, serving entrepreneurs. I wonder if I could just make one comment, because I've worked all of my life with entrepreneurs. So I totally agree with the impact and money motivators for entrepreneurs. But I wanted to point out, and this is just my perspective, and others may disagree, that I think it creates a blind spot for entrepreneurs, because I was thinking about the myth that they believe is that we're all the same. And so when there's been a motivation problem in the workplace, the entrepreneurs first go to is, we'll give them more money. But that doesn't always work. In fact, most of the time you just spend more, but you don't get the bang you were looking for. So anyway, just a commentary about motivation and monetary rewards.
Yes, well, I love that. And in fact, one of the myths of Reconnecting Workspaces, one of the chapters is we're all the same, right? If you go back to chapter 4, I believe, the tapestry of teams. And so, yes, as leaders, as entrepreneurs, as anyone, we can fall into the trap of thinking, oh, well, I'm motivated by this. Everyone else must be motivated by this. When in fact, no. And so this claims model, where it's stemming from is years of conversation with team members saying, what are those things that really drive you as a professional right now? And that's a really important door opener. It's beyond going through a DISC or a MBTI or a Strengths Finder. It's really talking about those core elements of what are the motivational factors. So they go hand in hand. And that's why this week we're talking styles on Friday, but also today on motivation, because it is a bit of a deeper layer of, what helps us tick and who we are. And once again, the whole premise of this work is what's going to help you do your best work? What's going to help you thrive? And a big piece of it is motivation and becoming aware of what our drivers are. Like I will get up early to, like yesterday, have impact and have community in a global setting. I started my first call before 5 a.m. But why did I do that? Because I was inspired to connect with people in Asia, in Africa, in Europe. To me, that's a different conversation that I want to be part of. And if I hadn't gotten up so early, I wouldn't have been part of that conversation. I would have been part of a North American conversation, which is fine, but I get inspired by a global view and a global perspective. So that's just a, again, it's another layer. And if we're not aware of our motivational drivers, we can sometimes feel that conflict or that loss, right? A lot of people right now have been talking about this notion of languishing, right? Languishing during the pandemic. And I think part of it, and I'm not an expert on languishing by any means, but I am guessing, as someone who came from the psychology field originally, that I think part of it may be a motivational driver issue. And I have to say, my undergrad work in psych at McGill was very heavily influenced by two parts: cognitive psychology, which you hear me talk about all the time, and the other area was this motivation and social learning. And very much, as I've gone throughout my career, as I've managed teams and organizations, have been so aware of seeing how these motivational levers play out. And it can sometimes just be like we're not aware of it. So we're sort of like trying to put put our foot on a gas pedal, which really isn't our gas pedal. And so people get frustrated. They may be putting their foot too much on the gas pedal, which leads to burnout and other things as well. So key issue for now. Tiff, any thoughts? I want to bring you in from Clubhouse. Any thoughts on motivation?
Oh, thank you. I just love learning. That's why I'm so excited to be here. And I would just say that's just what's driving me right now. Just that wanting to learn.
And as a business owner, you get to like put it into practice. As a coach, we get to carry that forward, right? Like, I think when we love to learn, and with the people that we get to interface with, whether they are entrepreneurs or whether they're leaders or parents, they, also get to benefit from our motivation as well. Samina, thoughts, reflections on this one for you?
Yeah. So if I were to pick my top two, like why I'm excited to get up in the morning and really get my day going, impact was my top, and learning. And actually, just last night I was just got exposed to this new concept of the nonviolent communication, because I'm preparing a workshop. Well, not a workshop. My program, one of the topics for today is communication. So I was, going into different books, videos, all stuff online, and nonviolent communication. I said, wow, this was amazing. I was just reading about that, reading up. And so this person, Marshall, Mr. Marshall, yeah. So he's passed away. Yeah. It's been a while, but like his work goes on. Like, his legacy, all his effort and all of that, right? So his books are there. So, I purchased his book this week. So I'm thinking, so from there, when I saw impact, and impact is a driver for me. It's a lever for sure. When I get up in the morning, and so then then the second is learning. Like, learning is one of my signature strengths, and it's there. So that's exciting. Learning is exciting, and I think, again, last time we were talking about how I have to hold myself back. Enough learning now. Let's go and, share some of that learning and experience. When I started my business, coaching about a year ago, someone told me how, you have experience, life experience, plus this coaching certification, this training, all of that. You have enough now to go out there and establish a business. So, yes, definitely, even as coaches, we have to be, improving ourselves and learning all the time. But I am able to set up a business. So that was, the message that I got. So yeah, impact, second, learning, community also. And as you were mentioning how you are excited about groups, so am I. I like groups as well. And I'd like to get better at, conducting group programs and creating and giving. So yeah, those are my top three.
Fantastic. Well, this place is a micro lab of group things as well, right? Every day we're doing something a little bit different. So keep looking at it from the process point. How about you, Miss Marty? What are you thinking about today?
impact and community. Those are the two. I'm making a difference in the world. I love to, some of my clients are up to just amazing things, and I love to support them. And community, certainly working with others, working with teams to create something.
Yeah, fantastic. So for those watching, listening, think about claims model and where that fits you. We will be linking this back. One other thing. So I was going to do a breakout, but we've talked about, what gets you motivated in this, but also I'm curious, as you think about those levers, has there been a recent event that's helped you move through your comfort zone, right? Like sometimes we can use these motivational levers when we are stretching and growing. And as business owners, we are constantly stretching and growing, hopefully, and moving through things that are comfortable or sometimes uncomfortable. So just bring to mind a moment in maybe the last month or two when you've stepped out of your comfort zone, but also have been able to lean into this. And I'll get you to just write that down with your motivational insights today, because I think if we start to deconstruct, right, high performance is about continuing to reach further and farther, which means that we need to go out on the skinny branch on a regular basis to keep growing and having impact. So what are the things that you can lean into in order to support you as you move into the edges of your comfort zone? Okay, so the invite, Tiff, I know you can't see this, but think about a recent event that's helped you move through your comfort zone, and then think about how that relates to motivation. All right, that's my little beep, 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 which always reminds me it's 5 minutes to the hour. So let's let's do a little wrap up here. Was there anyone who made a connection with that in terms of
Yeah, I did.
getting out? Yeah. Does anyone want to share what was important about making that connection?
Yeah, it was yesterday. And one of the things I find I'm learning is most challenging to me is writing a contract and sending it out to someone. I had to do that yesterday, and I was just clear I was just messing it up. What I find most helpful is a committed listener. Someone I call my friend and just said, and then just verbalizing it gets it out, and just somebody to say, I just feel like I screwed up, so I sent it out. We'll see what happens.
Nice, nice. Well, I love how that, really pushed you to the edge and helped you go over the edge.
Oh yeah.
You could hit send. How about you, Cheryl? Would you like to share?
Sure. Yeah, it was yesterday's practicum. So I think that the connection was there was a lot of learning yesterday. And I think what was driving me, there was some anxiety prior to, and then of course we know what happened during the session. So that was a huge learning. So it was feeding, the motivation was that desire to learn. And I think what was helpful for me was the supportive environment that the Reconnecting Workspace coaches provided, so that learning could happen in a safe space. And with like generous amounts of acknowledgement. That's helpful in terms of creating that safe, trust, connection triad that allows learning to continue.
That's back to community, right? It's like, yeah, when you have that community behind you, it's easy to go to the skinny branch. So think about this, right? And as you face, no doubt, I think on a daily basis, sometimes we're facing edges of our comfort zone. Think about what you can lean into and what's going to help you really continue to keep moving. Because I think more now, more than ever, it's just really important, especially in our role as coaches, to be able to support others. You know, everyone is navigating very uncharted waters. And so how can we role model as well the confidence and clarity of just, you know, continuing to move. So I'd love to hear any feedback on claims. Is it a model that you think you'll be able to share with others?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
Is anything missing
definitely.
from claims? I'm curious. I always ask this. Is anything missing as a driver? Think about that for today. I'd welcome any feedback you have. We're gonna,
Maybe one, because I'm thinking of a list that maybe variety, like some people are driven by just novelty. But I don't. Anyway,
yeah,
just a thought.
novelty. I think, yeah, and I like to tuck that under learning, you know, learning something new, but I think it could be its own, you know, novelty for sure, for sure. And, you know, with what's interesting is we can think about these motivational levers in line with our value system as
Mhm.
well. So I have a value of that variety or perhaps diversity, right, which layers on top of all of my motivational levers. And that's pretty keen. All right, so tomorrow we are back. Let's see where we're going tomorrow. I'm going to backtrack here down through our slides. Don't forget, take the quiz today, bit.ly/hybrid work quiz. Share it with your colleagues. I'll be hosting some calls about the different hybrid work styles going forward this fall. I'll be doing those on sort of a bi-weekly basis. Hope that you'll join me for one of those. And tomorrow is Thursday. So we're going to talk about teams and focus and then wrap up the week by looking at our 5 hybrid work styles under the styles category of day 22. So with that, it is October 20th. Make sure you take a look at day 19 and day 20 in your book. And I will see you back here tomorrow. Same time, same Zoom line. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.